As the world continues to take on gaming as one of the key things that they want to do, one of the challenges that's coming up is that how do we know who is in the game? Are they kids? Are they adults? Are they someone that's could be risky to who's in the game? We need to be able to identify not only who's in the game, but also who's on Web3. How are we connecting to the people who are in the game and knowing their age ranges and things of that nature? So there are tools that are necessary just to identify what's happening within a particular game. One of those tools that allows for the connection and identification of people is called Argos Identity. With Argos, you can actually get age verification or person verification using static IDs like driver's license, passports. You get IDs from that are government issues, so you can identify exactly who are the people in your game. So today we're going to walk through Argos and take a quick look at the platform itself. Let's go. So you first get to the landing page for Argos. You're going to see a description about the use case, describing how they identify people using AI powered for business. Some of the use cases they identify youth protection, ticket scalping, financial regulation. So they're going after that market of identification for applications that could be at risk if you didn't know who was using the application. So the two products they have are ID Check and Verify. With Verify, they have your facial ID and Texify, which is kind of interesting. But today what we're going to talk about is ID Check. So when you click on that, you'll see different ways that you could actually take a look at protecting your business using identity verification service. Again, the use case, money laundering, just ways of protecting against youth within your game. So that's what we're going to look at. And then they talk about the different identity, 1, 2, 3. And they talk about just how sophisticated their solution is for identifying who is on the platform. They have over 4,000 types of ID verification, which is amazing. And they also have policy change report. You can set up policies for how and what you want to identify with a person, which is really cool. And they also have an API that actually helps with some of that. So you can actually customize it to what you need for your business. So the first thing you could do is they actually have a way you can try it right now. So if you go ahead and try it. You'll actually bring up their mobile application that allows you to check it out. And I'm going to show you an example of how we do that. So what you would do is actually scan this QR code. And when you click on the QR code, so what you're going to see is the Argos application. So the first thing you're going to do is bring up your phone. You're going to actually scan this QR code, and now bring up the Argos application. And within Argos application, the first thing you do is once you sign your terms of service and test it out, you will get displayed with you a way for you to see how their application and platform works. So I'm going to put my email in here, and I'm going to hit start. And it's going to try to do some verification, but identity verification. There you go. You enter in a phone number. I'm going to enter in a phone number. Let's go with that one. Let's go. So that way you guys know what it is. Put next. Put OK. And then you could choose what ID that you want to actually leverage for identifying who you are. So I can do driver's license, for example. It's going to ask for access to my camera. And then boom, it can bring up a camera so I can scan my driver's license. So and right now I'm just pointing at the screen, so it's not really doing anything. But it's pretty cool that you can just go ahead and scan a driver's license, scan a passport, scan different things in order to test out the application. So let's do that. Yes. And so again, really straightforward, really quick. In the back end here, I'm going to switch over to a different screen that's going to show a little bit of the back end so you guys can see what's happening behind the scenes. I will go ahead and click this here. And you see we have a access management system behind the scenes. Let me start with the dashboard, actually. So on the dashboard, you can actually check to see what the credit usage is, how many approved or rejected people who actually come through your system based on your criteria, whether it's through the different types of IDs you allow and some of the things that you ask for, requests for the people to submit. So it's a pretty straightforward dashboard, seeing your credit usage. You have the number of submissions, the people who submitted to the application or submitted an application for your system to get verified. You have different events that you can have and triggers that you can set up. What happens when there's a government check fail? What happens when there's a abuse warning? So different event logs that you can come in here and then you can go ahead and check to see whether a person was approved or whether they were rejected for a particular reason. We're going to go to, you have your settings, which is one of the key components to the solution that allows you to set up your project, right? I have my project set up here, my project ID. I can set up a webhook to actually push out the information that I need or connect to or integrate the solution into one of my solutions and connect to it via a webhook. I have my live form customization where I can customize what my form looks like for completing my identification verification. But really, this is a pretty slick system and pretty easy. And so if you want to look at what my form looks like, I actually have a Tech Levitate form. You can scan it with your phone. And just like you saw earlier, I can I can walk through and connect the ID of the person to verify that they are who they are, and then use that to allow them or restrict them within my application. So pretty straightforward solution. One of the cool things that they do have is they do have an API and a pretty solid developers platform or developers guide for you to kind of look at and explore their platform. It shows you how to get started with the different types of checks, how it works, what are the verification steps that you need to go through, some recommended browsers and devices, supported languages. So they got a pretty robust developers platform for you to check out and actually build out what you want to happen within Argos. So again, definitely recommend it. It's a pretty straightforward walkthrough. For the test that you want to do, I would start with just trying the ID check and seeing where that goes. The other products we're not really going to talk about today, but this Face ID one is really going to be interesting. Once they get it completed, they just released it. You can secure your access with facial recognition, which is pretty cool. But starting with ID check is the way to go for your application. You can just think through your use case. How are you going to trigger the verification from the user? At what point do you want to trigger verification? At what point in your game is it when they're about to buy stuff? Is it when you're trying to build a Web3 asset and you want to assign it to a real identity or something that's going to be on a blockchain and you want to verify that they are who they are? There are some blockchain games now that are doing that, and they're verifying the person to make sure that they're not someone who's fake or someone who's representing somebody else and now taking their assets. So you definitely can do that using Argos as a platform and learning more there. So again, very straightforward, simple video. I just wanted to show you how it worked. I definitely recommend checking it out, expanding, trying out their version of it, and integrating it into your application as a use case to step through when that trigger happens for you to identify who the people are, or the need to identify who the people are within your game or application. All right. Thank you, and look forward to building some more solutions with you. But leave some notes in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you want me to check out on Argos, or if you want me to show you an example building it within a real game, and we will go from there. Thank you.